Congressman-elect George Santos has been called out on lies about embellishing his resume. Folks, it is not looking good for the newly elected congressman, who has said that he is a couple of things that have been certainly being questionable about his personal history. One is that he has lied about his work history, that he was an associate for Citigroup. Another lie is that he went to Baruch College. And then here's the kicker, folks. The man has even gone as far as to say that he is Jewish and he is a proud American Jew. That was a lie. Let me bring in our culture crew for today, Suzette Speaks, who is a TV host. You can check her out on YouTube. Also, she is a licensed attorney from the state of Florida, and we're always happy to have her on Wednesdays joining us for these conversations. Suzette, my sister, what is going on? Good afternoon. How you feeling this afternoon?
Hey, Faraji. Big up to the culture crew. Thank you for having me. Season's greetings, everybody. Yes, a juicy show ahead, indeed.
Juicy. First and foremost, I'm digging the dew.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Little Christmas. Hey. Switch up, right?
I'm digging.
305 in the building. Let's
go. Snap. Whenever we throwing up signs. Okay. 41032. All right, let me stop. Okay. So let's first talk about what's happening out of New York State, which has, reverberated down in Washington, D.C. Here is a congressman newly elected. He comes out of the LGBTQ community, and he made big political history as being the congressman for the 3rd Congressional District in New York, only to be called out on a number of big personal issues. One of the things, of course, is his resume saying, hey, he worked down on Wall Street. He was a part of the financial district. He worked for Citigroup. That's a lie. I need Maury Povich. Where's Maury Povich when you need him?
This was so shocking. I don't even know where to begin. Again, I never want to kind of gloat over people's, mishaps, but I think we want to be very transparent when it comes to the expectations of those who are supposed to hold the public's trust. I feel sorry for the people of this district who voted for someone who they thought was one person, but according to the New York Post and other reports now, seem to, in his words, embellish, and some would just say outright fib on many parts of his resume. So imagine you are running for public office and you're saying that you've worked for Goldman Sachs. You've said that you have graduated from NYU and Baruch College, and it all turned out to be a non-truth. And my mom don't like when I say lie, so I want to say untruth. But it is such a shocking allegation, or now proven by the research of the New York Post and others, to show that, unfortunately, Republican U.S. Representative-elect out of New York, George Santos, has indeed fabricated a good deal of his resume. So it is, again, a shocking change of events. He took a district that was once held by a Democrat over and has now swung the balance in the U.S. House of Representatives in favor of the Republicans. So there are some implications to which, he must answer for, but he is holding strong. He's saying he's not leaving office until his 2-year term is over.
Here's why I have the problem, man. This is the problem. Because, bro, you already said that you made a lie. Let me just post this very quickly. This is why I have problems with people. Like, I don't know whether this is just human nature, or if this is just greed, or if this is just, your lust and thirst for power. But let me just share with you what that report said. This is coming from NBC News. And I want us to kind of key in on it. Take a look at this here, folks. This is what NBC News already said. Now, these are some of the details that we already shared with you. Bombshell investigation. It was published earlier this month, December 19. New York Times said it was unable to substantiate many of Santos' alleged qualifications, such as that he had worked for Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, and Baruch College. He graduated from Baruch. He made LGBTQ political history when he won the November race in New York's 3rd Congressional District, which covered parts of Long Island and Queens. Now, check this out, folks. He admitted to what he described as, quote unquote, overstating and embellishing his qualifications in at least 3 interviews on Monday. Okay, this was this past Monday. He said a lot of people overstate in their resumes or twist a little bit. He said in the interview, he said, I'm not saying I'm not guilty of that. And he apologized in an interview with City and State in New York saying, did I embellish my resume? Yes, I did. And I'm sorry. And it shouldn't be done. He also said in the same breath, Suzette, that people do stupid things. And this is his word. He literally said, people do stupid things.
Sir.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. Hold up, bro. Hold up. You mean to tell me we all do stupid things? But that's not stupid. I don't put, hey, I graduated from Harvard.
It's willful. It is with premeditation. It's not by accident, sir. Please stop, making this even worse. He has actually taken down his original campaign website, which had all this information on there, sir. People saw that. It was you in print, black and white, saying that you had done things that you had not. Now, when we say embellishment, now I am not advocating for it, Faraji, but people have put, they were a director or a supervisor and they know they was a team lead and they had to, make it sound a little better for the position that they are trying to obtain. But this is not that. This is whole entire jobs. You have presented yourself to the voters as if you were this kind of Wall Street phenom banker that had worked at Citigroup and had worked at Goldman Sachs and these other big banks, that you had owned all this real estate, which was not true. It kind of has just gotten worse and worse as he continues to speak about it. I think he is mistaken if he thinks he can just kind of brush it under the rug by saying, I'm sorry, I have made this tiny error of embellishing, my resume. I think, even Stevie Wonder could see this is not what's going on here. It is outright down, home, bald face, how they old folks used to say it, lie, sir. So whether there will be an investigation, I know we haven't heard from Republican leadership. They've been rather quiet on this bit of newly released information. Even there are some reports, Raji, that said that there are those allegedly within the Republican leadership ranks that knew about it while he was still running. Again, he hasn't even been sworn in. That's not until January. But you have those like House leader Jeffries, who is calling for even an ethics investigation at the very least. Whether it will stop him from taking office is yet to be seen. But there are some questions that he really needs to answer and kind of, stop this double speak about being Jew-ish. And I don't know if you have that quote, but there's some terrible kind of, round robin ways of addressing this that are quite frankly disgusting.
Let me tell you, I was definitely going to address that one. The fact that he claimed himself to be a proud American Jew, and then in another interview said that, he was a Catholic, and that he said, well, the reason I said I was Jewish because my mom is from Ukraine and she had Jewish roots, and so I'm Jewish.
Sir.
So let me ask y'all a question. Let me just throw this out there. Is the Anti-Defamation League about to come out at him for claiming to be Jewish? Are we going to see the Jewish response to this that we've seen when it comes to black men and talking about certain things that the Jewish community or certain folks in the Jewish community may not be happy about? Are we going to see that same backfire, that same uproar, that a man like Santos can claim Judaism?
It's reckless.
Just straight lying about it.
It's quite reckless.
See, this is the sad part about this. And I want to just throw this out there because when we got to take a quick pause. But the sad thing about this is that you said this point, Suzette. People believed you, bro. That's why they elected you for office. And now you come back and then to have the audacity, the hubris, and the arrogance to say, I'm not stepping down until I complete my first term. Like, I lied, y'all deal with it. Let me move on with doing the job. Bro, if you lied about who you are and what you did and where you come from, how the hell are we expect you to believe that you won't lie about policy and other important matters that affect all of the people? Please. All right, folks, we have been talking about the lives of Congressman-elect George Santos, who is the congressman for New York's 3rd Congressional District. and talking about the impact that the lies have made, as the congressman-elect has lied about every place from where he worked, what college he went to, even lied about his lineage, saying he's Jewish. Let's go back to our culture crew member for the day, Suzette Speaks, to give us continue the conversation. I don't know which lie, if there is a priority of lies. I don't know if one lie, Suzette, is trumps another lie, right? But the point is that it's hard for me to believe that a person who's running on, in a state like New York, an important state for both parties, who happens, like you mentioned earlier, who wins in a primarily Democratic space, right? New York's 3rd congressional district, that they didn't check the background.
This is crazy.
Who was like, who just went along to get along? You know what I mean? Like, you didn't check the man's background.
Yeah, no, it seems like, and I've seen many people in the comments, hey, everybody, say, for your own job, you have to take a general background check. You have to do general, information gathering, whether you hire someone at, a private corporation or a government job. This is just a normal part of vetting people. But unfortunately, this gentleman, before he was slated as a candidate, wasn't really truly vetted. I also read an article today that stated that his opponent spent all this money on consultants, and nobody in that consultant class did their homework to kind of research this gentleman at the same time. So there were failures on multiple levels when it comes to trying to field somebody that really is worthy of the public trust. I think what has added insult to injury is the amount of kind of denialism, and you guys just look the other way, forget about it. I'm going to do a good job, and I will, continue to represent the folks of my district, wholeheartedly, and they can trust me now. And I think, everyone who is kind of an observer, whether you live within this gentleman's district or you just care about, the American political system, is just worried about what kind of precedents this set. We know that, unfortunately, our politics has taken a crazier turn. Of course, there's always been kind of deceit in politics to one degree or another. But since the election of former President Trump and others who have put out so much fabricating information or fabricated information that we are now almost immune to it, or seemingly or being kind of encouraged to just, again, accept this. He's a human being. No, this has to be called out. This has to be addressed. And maybe ultimately we'll end up in a committee, or maybe a House committee will investigate what happened here. But it's not something that we should just sweep under the rug and pretend as if, okay, just kidding. This is, this is someone who is being held to a higher standard for good reason. You are going to represent hundreds of thousands of people in the U.S. House of Representatives. Like, they should know they can trust who you say you are, so that you can bring the people's business to the House. Unfortunately, there's just so many more questions, and maybe we'll uncover more. Who knows?
That is disturbing. That is disturbing, to say the least, Suzette. It's disturbing to the fact that, people have to deal with this. Like, in 2022, this is how our political parties, this is where our political system has gone to, that you can make a bold-faced lie. You can lie about a lot of different things, important things that matter when it comes to your ability to serve. And then you want to stand in front of the American people. You want to stand in front of the people that voted you in office and say, deal with it.
Yeah, I just embellished.
And that's the part that gets me. It's like, I lied. Deal with it.
Yeah, no.
And it's like, bro, we're in a space right now that people are so sick and tired of politics as it is right now. It's become so toxic and dehumanizing and insulting. We're at a place right now. And you keep telling people, hey, here's my crap. Y'all deal with my crap. And then guess what? Y'all keep paying me. Y'all keep supporting me. Y'all keep me in power. But you deal with the bullshit that I bring to the table. Yeah. And guess what? Somebody is going to turn and get violent. People are not going to take this level of quote unquote political representation anymore. It's just not going to happen. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. I want to take a couple of comments from our online culture crew. Janelle, you checked in and said a Jewish publication has already called him out on his fake lineage. He hasn't said anything hateful yet. Well, I thought you can't claim to be Jewish if you're not Jewish.
Like, yeah, no, it was a way to garner support that he was undeserving of. So he's misleading people. There are folks that will donate to you or support you in other ways based on their belief, based on what you're saying to them. And I think there was also like a Republican Jewish, maybe a caucus, who has also said he's not welcome to join them. But yeah, it is a deep deceit that we can't understate. Like, oh, what's the harm? You know, everyone does it. No, this is a serious allegation. And again, if just picture someone else saying these same things, you wouldn't get away with it. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't heard more from the Republican side. And obviously we know why, because they need that vote. But if it was a Democrat that did this, we wouldn't hear the end of it from, right, soon to be Speaker McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy or any other leadership in the Republican side. So it is a little bit disappointing that something like this, that you can clearly see it from a nonpartisan lens, this is wrong. This is ethically wrong. Again, whether he's broken a law, we'll see. If there is anything that maybe New York State can prosecute or anything like that. But for right now, it's kind of in the hands of his colleagues to see if there are ways that he can be either sanctioned or investigated so that this does not happen again.
Let me just tell you, let's put this in another context here. Let's look at the fact that this being the election cycle, this election cycle probably brought more crazies to the ballot box than we probably want to believe. But when you look at a person like a George Santos, when you look at a person like a Herschel Walker, should we start to create a standard vetting system for those individuals who are running to become candidates in this government? There doesn't seem to be a vetting system that the American people can put their trust and confidence behind at this point, Suzette. And that's one of the things I think we need to look at, is that who's vetting these people?
Not the parties.
Like, all you got to do is be of a certain age and breathe. I mean,
basically. And then what makes me sad, Faraji, is there are some really good people who have some stains on their record, who did some things when they were younger, who were afraid to kind of step out there and don't want to get in politics because they know maybe past real indiscretion as teens, as young adults will come out. So you have people who have matured past those things, become, their true selves and developed as human beings, but now they're afraid to step into the political arena because of what might quote unquote come out. And then you have other people, as we have seen, as you just mentioned, with the likes of Herschel Walker and this gentleman, Republican George Santos, Rep-elect George Santos, now kind of making the bar even lower so that there are people that, step forward, but wholeheartedly fabricate parts of their histories so that you don't even know who you're voting for. It's wrong. Whether it's illegal is one thing, but ethically it's wrong. And so it has to be addressed, I think, from the candidate level where the parties are actually doing some of the homework. But yeah, it's quite shocking. And I hope, there's something that the parties is really who it boils down to, who select who gets fielded, or people can run on their own. But it's difficult for us to kind of just keep this as the status quo.
Hey, Suzette, I'm laughing because you said you think that the parties are going to do a checks and balance? Like, they let this guy get all the way to this point. So
voters, but again, it's
checks and balance. What is it? I mean, and look, like I'm saying, in this, folks might say, "Well, you bashing the GOP." These are GOP people. I'm talking about Herschel Walker. Hell, we could even look at. We don't have to just look at this cycle. Just look at the types of individual. I'm not even talking about party affiliation, but I'm talking about the quality of character of like a Marjorie Taylor Greene and other individuals who are sitting in the GOP. And you're wondering, and I'm wondering, and folks are wondering, like, how the hell did you get here? You know what I mean? Like, who let you in the door? Who brought you? Who allowed you to have a seat at the table in the room? And guess what? The GOP just lets it ride. Oh, well, it is what it is. We're not going to talk about the biggest liar, Trump himself.
I think he changed the game. His example changed the game.
So it changed the game. Now look, here's what all politicians lie. But generally that happens when you get in office.
It's not about them as who they are as people, though. Like, substantively, I don't want you to tell me that you went to school, you've done all this other stuff.
Bro, if you can't even tell me where you went to school,
like, he could have just said who he was. Like, he said,
really go to school? What, he went to a community college or something?
He did. He said he never graduated. Now he admits from a school of higher learning, I think he said. Wait,
hold on, Suzette. Hold on, Suzette. He never graduated from college.
No. And put 2 on the resume on the website. Like, it's kind of like, sir. And again, he didn't need to just be up front. But again, people feel like, they want to be portrayed as this big businessman with this, wonderful resume, et cetera, et cetera. But it backfired. And I just think, like, I wonder if he thought he would get away with it. I'm just like, did he not expect anybody to ask any questions? And again, I said New York Post, it was New York Times that did the research, pardon me there, that easily called the colleges and was like, nope, at that year, we never found anybody, no record of anyone attending our college or graduating with that name. It wasn't really that, I don't say that deep, but they had to research. But yeah, it is frightening. Like I said, he as one individual needs to kind of make amends or be held accountable to some certain degrees so that this does not come up again or become, the norm for people running for office thinking that they can just make stuff up and then get elected and say, oh, sorry, that's not really what I did. Sorry. No, we need to kind of draw a line.
Actually, it would have been better if he, said, look, I didn't go to school, but I'm qualified myself. And, my ideas are strong enough that the people of this district thought that I would be the best person. Like, that is a much more compelling narrative that, look, I didn't even go to college. Maybe it's compelling. I don't know. But the fact is that you lied about certain things. And I think, as we wrap up, you lied about certain things. And I'm going back to the end. So I hope the people of the 3rd Congressional District in New York just run his ass out. You can, and look, let me tell you, I know there's legal takes. I know there's legal procedures that you can take. And, some folks are saying, oh, he should be, impeached and quote unquote. I'm talking about, we might have to get to the point, Suzette, where we just, if some blatant disrespect of that magnitude, the people approach him because you know where they are. Mm-hmm. You gotta come out the house.
Roger, I'm not for the jungle justice, Roger. I'm not going to go on this. I'm not going on something. Look, I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. You want to play around with leadership and people's lives in this day and time, guess what? You're going to have to tell me face to face. And here in Los Angeles, that councilman who talk bad about black folks, guess what? Everywhere he go, he running up against black and Latino folks. Yeah.
Angelinos are like, we're not taking this.
Y'all don't mess around. Y'all show up in the office
everywhere that Joker go. He can't get everywhere he go. He's met with somebody. That's what you got to do sometimes. You ain't got to put your hands on them.
Right.
But you got to damn sure let him know, man, look.
You answer to us.
I'm here all day. I can keep doing this all day, sir.
No, it's terrible. Like I said, I'm sure there is someone going through his filings. That's a lot of where politicians sometimes get in trouble. There's an extensive amount of paperwork, again, that deters a lot of good people from getting into public service that he has to file. Now, if he lied on some of those papers, congressional filings or state elections filings that he had to make full disclosures on, then there may be some legal ramifications for what he said. But right now on the website being a lie, it's wrong. But again, did he break a law? We're uncertain, but I'm sure there are people combing through what he's filed officially on his paperwork to see if there's some fabrications there as well.
All I got to say is we wrap up. If he was black, would this
he would be gone. Okay, I'm just sorry. Like, they'd find a way. Sorry, they find a way already. They find a way.
They will go through all of that.
No,
and be
special election.
Right? Special election.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now,
We have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?